I was editing an entire other video that I had recorded in the afternoon, and after practically being done with the entire editing, I realized that video is just ass. And naturally, I started getting thoughts like, fuck, I wasted my time, I could have done something better, and all sorts of negative stuff. But then I realized, you know that quote? You know the fucking cheesy ass shit you hear all the time? Any mistake is a lesson. Something I realized is that anything cheesy or anything that you hear a lot to the point where you're sick of it is true. That's why you hear it so much, and that's why you're sick of it, because it's fucking true. Any mistake is a lesson. It can be scaled up to any other problem in your life, and you are responsible for all those mistakes is a comforting thought. Even the ones that you have no control over. Why would you want to live a life where you don't have control over the things you want to have control over? It is kind of delusional to think like that. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not being delusional, but I'd rather be delusional and happy, because I know that everything I do and everything that happens is my fault in a good way and in the bad way is a really good mentality to have. That means I have control over my life. And even in any example that genuinely could have no link to your actions. Let's take an extreme, a bit absurd example of something where you seemingly have no power over. Let's say an earthquake happens and your arm gets crushed by a wall that fell from the earthquake. It's a bit extreme, but hear me out. You'd seemingly think that the earthquake is not my fault. It's not my fault that the wall fell and it crushed my arm. What if you took responsibility for that? What would happen? What would happen is, after that happens, you start to work on your body more. You start working on your strength. You start working on your agility to not let anything like that ever happen again. Let's say you're living a really unlucky fucking life and a wall falls on your other hand. What would have happened since then? You would have been working on your strength and you fucking pushed that wall off your arm and you didn't crush your arm. This is a really absurd and extreme example, but it's just to say that if you take responsibility for the things you seemingly have no power over, it's gonna drive you to just be better in general. Let's take another example where seemingly it's not your fault. Let's say a girl cheats on you. It's not necessarily your fault, but why wouldn't you want to find a way to relate it back to your actions in a way where you can learn from it and change it up in the future? Let's say that girl cheated on you. You genuinely didn't do anything wrong, but what if you did? And what if you didn't even do something wrong in the relationship? What if that thing you did wrong was even choosing her in the first place? Because she's the type of girl to cheat. If you can find responsibility and accountability in anything, even things that you would typically not be your fault, is a really good mentality to have, because it makes you regain control of your own life. You're not just subject to... Why would you want to live in a life where you're just subject to any randomness that can happen? Any bad thing randomly can happen, and your life is just fucked, and you can't do anything about it. I can have the power over my own life, make decisions based on what I want for my life, because I am as responsible for the bad as I am for the good. There's equal amounts of bad and good in the world, and if we're responsible for all of it, then we can choose to bring the good, or we can choose to bring the bad. You can come and disagree with me with any other example of things that genuinely could not be your fault at all. I don't care. I'm gonna live my life finding some way to relink everything back to my own doings, even if I genuinely didn't do anything wrong. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. And what does that mean? That means that in the future, I can do something different to make it better. That's how I live my life. It's a comforting thought to know that you are responsible for all the bad, but all the good as well. This is a really deep conversation that stemmed from just me recording a bad video, but something I believe in life is that any situation can be like scaled up and zoomed out to be related to bigger topics in life. You can really be able to study yourself and understand yourself even with small situations like this. Alright, anyway, drink water, and you know what, wait, drink water. See ya.